A little over a week ago I kissed the top of our 7.5 weeks old baby's head. It was a single, light kiss and she had a thick head of hair with no obvious scratches or other skin imperfections. But I had cold sores on my lips at the time. We have been really careful to avoid giving our children cold sores or otherwise pass along the herpes virus, HSV-1. We have maintained a strict no kissing on the lips or face rule between everyone and our children, and I do not kiss my wife on the lips or other regions while I have cold sores. But just a few hours ago our 7.5 weeks old baby was diagnosed with HSV-1. She developed sores starting from where I kissed the top of her head within 24 to 48 hours of the kiss. We weren't sure what the sores were initially, so we brought her to a walk-in medical clinic for assessment. They took a swab sample for testing and provided a prescription for topical, skin-applied, antibiotics while suggesting the sores could be due to a bacterial infection. But after 48 hours the sores were continuing to grow and spread across the top of her head. So we phoned the clinic and our family doctor, but they still had no test results. They then provided a prescription for oral antibiotics. But after 24 hours the sores were continuing to grow and were now across her forehead. We still had no test results, so my wife took her to our family doctor. But our family doctor did not know the cause of the sores either and suggested we take her to the Children's Hospital Emergency. We took our baby to Children's Emergency that evening. They took a look at the sores and listened to our concerns. They also took swab, blood and urine samples to try to determine the cause of the sores, bacterial or viral, and to determine if it had spread to other organs or systems. They tried to take a sample near the spinal cord as well, to check if it was in her central nervous system, but they were unable to collect what they needed due to her small size, 10 pounds, and movement during their attempts. While waiting for the results from the hospital, we were informed that the test results from the walk-in clinic showed only a culture of normal skin bacteria. But the hospital staff told this could be due to them collecting the sample from the surface and not opening up the sore to collect. She was admitted to hospital and started on 4 antiviral and antibiotic medication. After spending 48 hours in the hospital we were informed that she has contracted HSV-1 and that the sores may reoccur in the same region it started originally, top of head, or around the mouth. Different infectious disease doctors gave varying options on where the sores may appear in the future. They told us that she will need at least a week of 4 antiviral as she is too young to take oral antiviral. My mom was infected with HSV-1 when she was in grade 6, likely from her dad, and was hospitalized for a month. Apparently they thought at the time that she would die from it due to the severity of the response. And my older brother and I both were infected with HSV-1 around that same age or younger from our mom, but we have had only recurring cold sores with no other major symptoms. I seem to get cold sores almost exclusively when I have a lack of sleep and thus put stress on the body, leading to a compromised immune system. Now our little girl has them despite our best efforts, and it breaks my heart. We are concerned about it now being easier to spread to our other children, and the possibility of it spreading my wife's breasts, which would affect her ability to breastfeed. Especially concerning if we have more children in the future. And I have found cold sores to be a cause of physical, emotional and social discomfort in my own life, so I am very sorry to have passed it along to my daughter. I had no idea that HSV-1 could be spread through contact with skin. Growing up I only heard of it being through mucous membranes, lip-to-lip kissing, sharing cups and utensils, etc., and a few years ago I read that it could spread to breasts or genitals despite not being HSV-2, genital herpes. Looking it up online now, I am seeing that they suggest not kissing babies under 28 days to avoid causing neonatal herpes. But what I was reading did not make it clear that kissing any part of the baby could spread the virus. The doctor stated it is possible to spread through kissing the top of her head, but prior to diagnosis said he would be surprised if it was HSV-1 because she was not under 28 days, she was 6.5 weeks at time of kiss. She was full term, healthy weight with no complications during pregnancy or postpartum. According to the info I found online, herpes on an infant or child can have life-changing consequences aside from the sores, such as blindness and brain damage, and can often be fatal. Apparently the majority of the general population likely has herpes, but a lot of people are asymptomatic, i.e. have never had any cold sores. And herpes can be spread within the body or to others whether or not there are sores present at the time, although it makes it more likely to spread to others if there are sores. My wife informed of a case, there is at least one article online from 2008 regarding it, where herpes had spread to an infant and they were hospitalized. But a week after the infant's sores were no longer present, the baby died due to the virus spreading within the body. So I am sitting here in the hospital full of regret over that single kiss, and hoping that she is able to make a full recovery. But I am glad that she did develop visible sores and that I suggested along the way that the sores could be due to herpes, because they were able to diagnose and treat the virus relatively early, which may have prevented it from spreading to other regions of the body. I am also glad that our baby was healthy, on seemingly all account prior to this incident, because it would likely affect her worse had there been other compromising factors. And I am hopeful that effective and safe therapeutic and preventative vaccines for the virus will be developed in the near future. I do not want to cause unnecessary or excessive fear among others, but I want to share my experience and raise awareness of the risk. I wish I knew what I do now a couple of weeks ago. I would take back that kiss in a heartbeat. I would like to thank those who have shared their support, information and experiences. I appreciate your kind, constructive words and I hope you are doing well. Smile. I would like to point out the following regarding this post. 1. I am not a medical professional. My username was the first randomly offered username by Reddit and I didn't care to change it at that time. I did not mean to suggest that I am a paramedic. What I am and have been explaining is my current understanding based on my own research and experience and those of others who have shared. 2. Patches and medication may be available to you which can decrease the risk of spreading the virus or showing physical symptoms. It would probably be a good idea to talk to your doctor if having herpes causes you to have sores or seek therapy if it causes you depression. 3. If you are reading this at this point in time, chances are you carry the virus too according to some estimates/research. You often need to be tested specifically for HSV-1 to know whether or not you are a carrier due to the majority of people, babies and adults, being asymptomatic, never experiencing sores. 4. Having sores puts you at a greater risk of transmitting the virus to other people or having it spread to other locations on the body, but a lack of sores does not make those events impossible. And its spreading within the body is common for infants especially when left untreated and can often be fatal. One estimate shows a 25% death rate estimated for the United States currently even with treatment, or cause disabilities if it spreads to other organs or the central nervous system. 5. Infants may experience symptoms such as lethargy, exceptionally sleepy or fatigued and sluggish, difficulty breathing, irritability, high or low body temperature, having a larger abdomen size than normal, or seizures when infected with the virus. If an infant experiences these symptoms or what appear to be herpes sores are present, you should contact your doctor or seek emergency services immediately. 6. The virus can be spread through contact with skin on any part of the body, although infection is much more likely to infants, areas with damaged skin or open wounds, and mucous membrane areas, i.e. lips, mouths, breasts, genitals, eyes, noses and ears. 7. The virus can transfer to others without a person touching them directly. Sharing food, drinks, utensils, or otherwise contacting an infected area can transfer the virus. 8. Once infected, the HSV-1 virus remains within the body for life. This may or may not be true for all forms of herpes. 9. Stigma surrounding herpes and its transmission is preventing honest and open transfer of information on the topic. 10. Showing affection for those you love is natural and needed, but should be done in a manner that does not put yourself or them at an increased risk of negative consequences. 11. I kissed my daughter on the hair at the top of her head. She was born with a full head of hair which is still there and she did not have any obvious damage to the skin at that area. 12. I deeply regret kissing my daughter when, as a baby, and where, semi-exposed skin, I did, but I did not know that transmission through skin on any part of the body was possible. My understanding at the time was that active HSV-1 sores can transfer to others when the virus touches lips, breasts or genitals only. I do intend on discussing management of the virus with my doctor soon to see what methods may be available, and effective for me in my efforts to reduce the risk of spreading the virus. My mom kissed us on the lips frequently growing up. We would kiss her lips and share drinks with her as long as she did not have an active sore. When I was 14 years old or so I told her I did not want to kiss her on the lips anymore. She expressed her sadness regarding these wishes and said that I must not love her anymore. I do not know exactly when or how I was infected. Cold sores were sort of accepted as being normal within my family, despite my mom's extreme reaction to the virus as an older child. And until recently we had other family members insist that kissing children and babies, including on the lips, is normal and needed and that it isn't a big deal to spread cold sores. When I say that the virus spread despite our best efforts, I do not mean to say that we did everything we could have and should have done. What I mean to say is that we were actively trying to stop the spread of the virus given what we had known at the time. Myself and my wife have done some of our own research regarding the virus at different points in our lives, yet we still did not know what we do now. If the results of my actions which I have shared here is expected to you given the circumstances, I am glad. But my target audience with this post is people who may not have expected what we have experienced. Update 1. To summarize, I kissed the top of our 6.5-week-old baby on the top of her skull while I had a cold sore and it resulted in her being infected with herpes, HSV-1/ the cold sore virus. I did not know that infection could occur through regular skin. Growing up I was only taught that it could spread through contact with the mouth or lips, and I only learned about infection being possible to genitals or breasts as an adult. Prior to the kiss, I think I may also have been unaware about the seriousness of infections to babies and was trying to prevent its spread to our children solely based on the discomfort and embarrassment I endured in my own life as a result of developing cold sores. Our daughter was provided with 4 antiviral treatment for 1 week in the hospital before we were discharged. We were given a prescription for 1 week's worth of oral antiviral medication to be taken from home, and had a follow-up appointment with the infectious disease doctor around a week after discharge. Although they were unable to take a sample of spinal fluid to check if HSV had spread to our daughter's central nervous system, they thought that the virus was likely only skin deep in her case. And we were told that we would need to come back to the children's hospital immediately if the sores presented themselves again, I assume at least until she is 1 or 2 years old. Our daughter has had 1 or 2 outbreaks of HSV-1 since we initially left the hospital. The first of those outbreaks was around 3 weeks after leaving the hospital and resulted in a hospital stay overnight followed by about 2 months of oral antivirals to be provided from home. And the other time was around 1 month after using up the antivirals from the previous outbreak, but the sore went away on its own within 24 hours. We were going to pick up antivirals for the last time, but all pharmacies were closed, so we decided to wait until the morning, but the sore was almost fully gone by the morning. Both recurrences showed up at the same location as the initial sore and kiss, top of skull. My wife met with an infectious disease doctor in February to discuss our daughter's case, and the doctor said that our baby got really lucky. There are limited treatment options and our baby's case was very minor compared to most. She seems to be a very happy and healthy baby. In my opinion, since she was about midway through her stay in the hospital, she seemed to be in a happier place and is still there as long as she isn't wanting to be held or nursed by her mom. My wife and I both agree that SHE has been the happiest of our babies. And she is just about to celebrate her first birthday. I have posted this story to a number of different subreddits to try to raise awareness, especially for parents or soon-to-be parents. Many users have expressed gratitude for the posts because they were unaware regarding the dangers of HSV or how infectious it is. Now on to second story. Left my husband alone for 3 weeks, he ended up buying and eating honeycombs, a whole 15 pounds bag of red lentils, and ordering nothing but Taco Bell. I went on vacation for 3 weeks with some friends and left my husband at home because he didn't want to go and he had to watch our dog. I came home yesterday and found out that he bought some honeycombs from our friend's father and has been sitting in the living room just eating the honeycomb, like the whole thing with all the beeswax and bits in it. I told him it wasn't healthy, but he says the wax is edible and he's eaten like 6 of them. Commenter, honey wax is edible, just it might cause a lot of gas if you eat a lot of honeycombs. Oop, oh goody. More gas. I think I'm gonna ask my friend if I can move in with him back in Korea while my husband gasses himself because he also ate an entire 15 pounds bag of red lentils and DoorDash taco hell for the past 3 weeks. So, about 3 weeks ago I flew to South Korea for a vacation with friends who live there. My husband didn't want to go and said he'd be fine staying home and watching the house and dog. I trusted him because he's a 40-year-old adult man and assumed he'd be able to feed himself like a sane person despite him possessing the cooking ability of a cactus. I was wrong. I should have dragged him and the dog along with me to another country. What my husband decided to do during his 3 weeks without me was absurd. I would have been happier if he'd cheated on me instead. Because what he did was order nothing but Taco Bell through DoorDash after he somehow broke my stove by cooking an entire 15 liters BS bag of red lentils all at once. Then he didn't bother to get a bowl for his lentils, he just ate them straight from the pot and stuffed the pot into the fridge and broke one of the shelves inside it. Now realizing his mistake, he decided to order nothing but terrible tacos for the remaining 2 weeks while getting high on medical marijuana. Also for some reason he bought a bunch of honeycombs from one of our friend's fathers and decided those made a good snack and has eaten nothing but beeswax and honey for the last few days because he's some kind of weird alien in a human disguise. Apparently honeycombs give you gas. And lentils give you gas. And Taco Bell gives you gas. So now it's today and I'm awoken by what sounds like someone revving a motorcycle in my bedroom followed by the stench of the fiery pits of hell itself. It's 5:30 in the morning. He gets up and goes to use the toilet as I'm opening the windows in a poor attempt to ventilate the house, but it's too late. He doesn't even have a solid poop, it's just 10 minutes of gas. Like 20 seconds of non-stop farts followed by a huge gasp of air and then another 20 seconds of gas. By this time, the dog is hidden under my couch because it doesn't know what those loud honking noises are and fears for its safety. I consider joining it, but continue to open every window in my house. It's 62 degrees out and windy. The wind just blows the fart smell around the house. My husband has left the bathroom and has walked upstairs. It sounds like there's a small 2-stroke engine in his pants. I can't take it anymore and scream that I'm going to get breakfast at the diner and leave him. I bring the dog with me because the dog follows me out of the house because it also doesn't want to be here right now. So now I'm at the diner waiting for my husband to dega himself while the dog sits underneath the table next to me wearing a pink leash kit harness that my friends bought for me as a gag gift that has my name and emotion L support human on it that the waitress thought was some kind of in-joke. This is the start of my morning. I hope it's not as stinky as yours. Update 1. It's 9 o'clock and my husband texted me to tell me to rent a carpet cleaner from the Dollar General because he trusted a fart and shat all over the living room floor. It's gonna be one of those days. Update 2. It's 10:23 and I've returned home after a lovely day of walking my dog around the park, getting coffee, renting a carpet cleaner, and tuning my motorcycle to a house that smells like Febreze and Lysol. I took so long screwing around that my husband had time to harass our neighbors and borrow a spot-bought carpet cleaner that didn't clean our carpet. I gave him the instructions for the carpet cleaner I rented for stupid amount of money from the Dollar General and I'm now locked in our bedroom. He's allowed in when the house is fixed and he's no longer filled with more gas than the Hindenburg. Now. It's 11:40. I can't hear the carpet cleaner anymore, but I can still hear the horns of Jericho as my husband continues to fart. He's smoking too, and the pot smoke and farts are leaching into the bedroom where I'm unsafely locked inside. Oh yay. Update 3. I survived the gas attack. I fell asleep and woke up to a bajillion comments on this post, a dog that also shat on the floor, and a husband that is now gas-free but had been on the toilet for so long his legs went to sleep so he fell off the toilet and ripped the towel rack off the wall. He did try to put the towel rack back, but now I need to buy drywall anchors because if you look at it funny it just falls off again. He says I'm never doing that again. But he'll probably do something similar in 6 months because apparently I'm on the Truman Show or something. Update 4. My husband can actually take care of himself, he just can't cook even though he says he can, and his family thinks cooking is using the magical microwave box for everything that's not toast. My husband has tried to make toast in the microwave but obviously that didn't work. He also wasn't like this when we met, he was just a normal awkward nerdy guy from a kinda poor family. He did take out the trash, do the laundry, feed the dog his special dog food because my dog is diabetic, mow the lawn and buy some groceries. Unfortunately, he blew some fuse trying to use the Keurig, toaster oven, and microwave all at the same time and gave up on trying to zap food for himself and resigned to using DoorDash and Uber Eats for everything after he also broke my stove. I think the beeswax is what did him in because he said he was fine until he ate like 7 honeycombs in a row. Update 5. So apparently you can't digest beeswax, so my husband has turned into a human shotgun that's entirely powered by gas. He says it comes in waves, so it's gas and then beeswax and then gas followed by more beeswax. I think he ate the entire beehive. Also, as hard as it is to believe, my husband can cook, but he can only cook stuff on a barbecue because he can't tell when it's done if he tries to use the stove. And the key to our barbecue cover got lost somewhere, so now I have to break the lock off or cut the cover. Final update. My husband gave himself food poisoning from all of the raw honeycomb. He finally came to his senses after I sent him on a fridge shelf replacement adventure by himself and told him he can't come back until he finds one. It took him 13 hours and he had to go out of state because we have a weird Samsung smart fridge. So, he got the shelf and hopped back into his car, that he had been farting in all day long, in 90-degree heat, and almost vomited from the smell. Then he had to drive 6 hours with all the windows down, had to stop to buy Depends because he still had food poisoning, and finally made it home to apologize for eating like a 14-year-old boy and breaking my kitchen and trust. He also found a replacement barbecue cover and anchors for the towel bar he destroyed. P.S. The whole microwave toaster oven coffee make debacle involved him tripping the little mini breaker on the outlet itself and not knowing how to reset it. It had a button that said reset and pushing it turned all the appliances on again. The outlet was hidden behind the microwave, so maybe he's not a total dumbass because it took me a while to find it. P.P.S. It's 7:30 p.m. and he started a 14-hour brisket roast for the 4th. It smells amazing. I still don't know how he can cook like a barbecue pitmaster, but lacks the ability with a regular stove. He's like Superman if Clark Kent was a drooling idiot instead of a reporter. I honestly would have been less annoyed if he broke the lock on our grill cover and ate nothing but barbecue for 3 weeks. At least if the grill got stolen, then that's all his money lost.